first, let's get into the fall heard around the world. She said not that dramatically. By now, this play where Warriors bad boy Zaza Pachulia falls, drops, lands, whatever you want to call it, on top of Russell Westbrook's legs has been seen everywhere, including the league offices. Was it dirty? Nick Wright says it was. The NBA says it wasn't. Turns out the league will not discipline Zaza for the incident, saying they had a difficult time showing intent. Howard, I'm curious what your thoughts are about this, whether you thought it was a dirty play and your reaction to the league not punishing him.
My thought is I'm a little afraid to say anything out loud with Nick City.
No, please, I'm very happy to guess. Go ahead.
The fumes.
He wants Zaza out of the league.
So hold on.
Go ahead.
I would like to let Howard have the floor. I met him for the first time this week, and I invited him onto the show. I want to be kind. Please go ahead.
I appreciate that. I will, and then I'll back the chair up. Listen, I'm not one who likes to read intent or mind read. And so my feeling on Zaza Pachulia's play is, yes, this is a guy with a history, a very clear history of getting into incidents where he somehow, sometimes accidentally falls into or gets under and otherwise hurts, maims people. This looked like a very clumsy play to me. This looked like, and you know, certainly from the league's vantage point, as they reviewed all the film, Nick Young hit the back of his knee. Now, if Zaza had intent to hurt, he could have come down a lot harder. He could have just flopped on him. And he falls slowly. Like, it's just the most slow motion topple you could see. And he is a big, clumsy oaf. Sorry, Zaza. But to then read intent to say, well, because he got under Kawhi, because he once mixed it up with David West, because he has these other incidents in his past, that we can then jump to the conclusion that he had intent to fall on Westbrook's knee and try to hurt him, and then suspend based on that, I think is a leap too far, and I think that's where the
NBA right hand. Like, when we see, what about the fact that as he's falling, and you'll see it on this next angle, his right hand can go a lot of places, including to the ground. Instead, it goes to Westbrook's crotch. Like, I mean, you'll see it right here. And Nick Young does hit his foot now, or his knee. Let me hit you right there. Like, I mean, that's not how I fall, and I'm not a pro athlete. What about the fact that he clearly, like, Chris, I know you and I agree on this. This is a dirty play. Now, whether it's suspendable, I guess we could disagree. I want to again remind the audience, when Chris says I want him out of the league, I do want him out of the league, but I don't want the NBA to throw him out of the league. I would like the Warriors, light years ahead, light years season, unanimous MVP season, 73 wins. I'd like the Warriors, Bob Myers, Joe Lacob, Steve Kerr, to have a discussion. Do we need this guy?
That's the thing. Why? Like, we agree. I think it would have been fine to suspend him for one game because, yeah, I guess Nick hit his leg. I thought Zaza clearly just fell on purpose. I do agree with you. I don't think he was trying to hurt him badly because he could have came down a lot harder. Make him feel him. You know, get an elbow or something. Make him feel him. But I don't think he should be out of the league. And to think that the Warriors would consider taking him off the team just for this, even the flurry of bad plays, if some people call it dirty plays, he's had. A lot of teams had that. Greg Popovich didn't kick Bruce Bowen off the team when he was regarded as a dirty player.
This is, to me, Zaza is the dirtiest player in the league. And I know there was a survey you brought up earlier from 2016 where he didn't make the top five. But we have a history of him, a dirty screen on Russ and then standing over him. What he did to Kawhi. You mentioned the David West play from years ago. There's a long, you can go through, there's a long thread of these gifs of dirty Zaza plays.
Are we throwing Matthew Dellavedova out of the league?
Well, he was number one in this.
Dellavedova, I got no love for either. Like, and I'll be totally honest. I haven't watched as much Dellavedova since he left Cleveland. I don't know if he's refined his game at all, but it doesn't seem like it. I thought what Dellavedova did against, I think it was Kyle Korver, was awful.
The point is, Nick, there are players like that in the league and always have been, obviously even worse back when the rules weren't as stringent. So you can't kick them out, and you certainly can't expect a team like the Warriors don't have a problem with Zaza.
The Warriors are certainly not going to do it if the league found no intent. If the league had suspended him, then the Warriors have more of a case to say, okay, now it's actually sort of affecting our team. You have guys on the Warriors who support him. The team in and of itself is going to say, well, the league didn't find anything wrong with him, so he's the guy that goes out there. I'm not saying it's right.
Listen,
I just don't think the Warriors are going to be the ones
that players only can be punished by the league. If Zaza had done something wildly offensive or illegal, if Zaza was caught using some racial slur, guess what? The Warriors would have a discussion. Do we want this guy on our team? Is this good to represent our brand? Is this good to represent our guys? If Zaza is out there...
He fell on somebody.
If Zaza is out there targeting... Chris, you agree it was on purpose.
Yeah.
I know you agree it was on purpose. You also agree it could have hurt him badly. That could have given a hairline fracture in his leg. That could have hurt him worse than it did. Go ahead, Howard.
But no, but if he wanted to hurt him, Nick, this is the thing. Like, let's say, and I'm going to just like stipulate for the moment that you guys are right, that somehow there was intent there, which I don't think we can't certain of. We just can't be certain of, frankly. He does fall. He does slow motion fall. And if the intent was to hurt, you're concerned about Westbrook being hurt? We should be. As fans of the game, as anybody who watches the game, you don't want guys getting hurt for anything other than, you know, the freak accident.
Right.
It shouldn't be because somebody tried to. If he were trying to, he
would
could have
hurt
fallen a lot harder. That's a big dude. If he wanted to fall on Westbrook's knees with the intent to injure, he could have done that. He could have not braced himself at all. He could have flopped a lot harder. Also, I would go back through like his last few incidents. The one incident that Zaza had that was clearly with intent was his takedown of Westbrook a year ago or last season, where he knocked him and then just like stood over him. Like that one, I think you can see. You can see the look on his face. You can see his posture afterward. Getting under Kawhi Leonard, that happens in this league. It is something that they are trying to legislate out of the league, and they created a Zaza rule so that it wouldn't happen. But again, intent to hurt Kawhi on that play from the playoffs last spring, he got under him while trying to contest the shot. That does happen. So
we can't prove that.
Right. These are all very ambiguous situations, aside from the one where he just like smacked down Westbrook and stood.
It's just repeatedly, again, I'm a big believer in anyone can be accused of something one time, and I will almost always give them the benefit of the doubt. The moment you get accused of the same thing multiple times, you've lost all your benefit of the doubt with me. He's not only targeting guys, he's targeting the league's best guys. It is not a coincidence that Kawhi, on a gimpy ankle, is the guy he had his worst closeout of the year. All year, Zaza was closing out on shooters. All year. How many guys did he injure?
There are probably a lot of guys he got under like that. And not only Zaza, but again, it happens in the league a lot. I've watched films of guys doing the same thing, and the guy didn't get hurt. I mean, you have to, the timing for you to time him to land on your foot the way Kawhi did, that's pretty
easy.
Impeccable timing.
It's not. Listen, and you mentioned Bruce Bowen. I don't like the way Bruce Bowen played, and I don't like Pop, who
Danny Ferry, same thing. Played for the Spurs. Was known. He was regarded as the dirtiest player in the league.
And I love Pop. I think Pop represents all that's good in sports from an on-court and off-court perspective. I didn't like his hypocrisy about the Zaza thing versus the Bruce Bowen thing. Like, you can have some slight flaws even if you're a great guy. The NBA doesn't need guys like this.
Draymond. What about Draymond?
Draymond brings things other
was kicking people.
Draymond brings other aspects to the table than goon behavior.
He's a better player.
A great player.
But does that mean if you're not a very good player, you shouldn't be able to be in the league?
Right, so you just created a double standard, Nick, where it's basically like if you've got other skills, we can forgive your other trespasses, but if all you've got is, physical attributes.
If your only utility is you intimidate because people are afraid of being hurt.
He rebounds, he plays defense.
He averaged 6 points and 6 rebounds for them last year. 6 rebounds in 18 minutes.
By the way, he's 24th in the league in points per game last year. What would the Warriors have done without him? JaVale couldn't have gotten those numbers.
Nick, you know you're barking up the wrong tree. He should be out of the league.
I wouldn't have him on my team. How about that?
But that's a pretty smart coaching staff. Like, we can make the jokes about them being light years ahead. That's a really smart organization and a smart coaching staff. If they saw no utility to Zaza beyond goonery, I don't think he'd be playing even the 12 or 13 minutes a game he's playing.
All right, Howard, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Hey, coming up as Lonzo Ball officially turned the corner. Next up, First Things First.
And America, instead of just reading tweets, read some articles. Howard's got great stuff on Bleacher Report.
Mom and Dad got a new car. It's not theirs, it's mine.